I'm not going to waste much time with the intro here because there's a lot to go over. To save time though, there's a lot that I won't be covering, like what every possible outcome of Venture Space is, or the mathematical formula for calculating how much a stock price changes from investing versus buying and selling stocks. I'm only going to cover what is relevant here, as needed. Anyways, here is a summarization for what Fortune Street is. Monopoly, with stocks, and everything is Mario and Dragon Quest themed. Obviously, there are a lot more nuanced details to it, but we will get to them as we get to it. With that established, I welcome you, my fellow entities of the interwebs, to another generic Mystic video. Can you beat a game of Fortune Street without buying property? So before we get into the nitty-gritty of gameplay, we have a couple of settings to get through. For standardized gameplay, we are going to play with the standard rules, and for easy-dized gameplay, we are going to play with the lowest difficulty computer players. Because I have not played any Dragon Quest games, I am going to stick with Birdo, Donkey Kong, and Diddy Kong. After that comes the choice of map. We have a total of 18 maps available to us, and while, yes, there are a lot of options to pick from, we want to narrow down as much as possible. I guess that means it's time for the crappily done MS Paint visual? Come on. Get up there. Hello? Ah! Ah! Ow. Okay, so of these 18 maps, I can instantly cross out these 6 just because of the fact that they are unlocked by grinding out the single-player mode, but I don't really want to do that. Next up, I will get rid of any maps that have islands. What that means is maps that have isolated areas that can only be accessed by landing on certain tiles like Slimania, Starship Mario, and Yoshi's Island, or maps that can sometimes have isolated sections depending on certain conditions, like the Observatory and Mount Magmageddon. From there, we can get rid of any maps that don't have any special tiles that help us move around the board faster. That means Peach's Castle and Robin Hood Ruins are off the table. After that, we have maps that are too long of a trek to make it to the place to buy stock. Stock buying is going to be the majority of the way we earn anything in this game, and the long paths on both Ghost Ship and Mario circuits will make this a nightmare to get any progress done. This leaves Mario Stadium and Delfino Plaza. Both have their own promises of success, but between the two, I will go for the latter. There are 3 small loops with the bank between them, allowing you to avoid a third of the map if absolutely needed, versus the 2 paths that will be inevitably trekked through on Mario Stadium. Additionally, the cannon available on each loop can potentially cut down on travel time and even avoid potentially dangerous sections of the map, which that single rule against space on Mario Stadium wouldn't help much with. So from this, we have our mode, characters, and map. All that is left is to start. Loading in, we see that the settings are a bit off for the speed of the game. Fixing them, we establish the plan. Get a net worth of 15,000 G and make it back to the bank. Alternatively, bankrupt someone and be in first place when that happens. The start of the game goes as any start goes, with the computer players buying up property and me moving around the board trying to collect suits. By collecting all 4 scattered across the board and making it back to the bank, you'll get a paycheck akin to Pass and Go and Monopoly. The pay will be based on both your level and the properties you own, but given we can't own any, we get the minimum payout every time. We keep going on with our game, doing dice rolls here and there when we immediately hit a tile that charges 100 G. And at that point, we lost a lot of our snowball potential, so I just reset. Before moving on to attempt number 2, I want to do something creative. The tier list. So, we have a list here. What do we put on the tiers? All the vacant plot options. As you can see by the 3 tiers, we have the good, bad, and the you might as well reset or assume you lost. The circus tent, which we just landed on, goes into that last category. The computers get a terrifying shop in the early game and can upgrade it to be an overall threatening structure if they land on it at any point, so seeing this appear is very bad news. Anyways, on to attempt number 2. On this attempt, we see Donkey Kong buy 2 estate agencies. If he lands on them, he can buy any unowned property on the board, and if an opponent lands on them, their shops are closed until their next turn. For our tier list, this space is our golden goose as we receive no drawback and actually benefit due to it being an additional safe space on the board for us. A few turns later, we see that both Birdo and DK have promised for getting monopolies on their respective districts, with Diddy lagging behind. My current net worth has me in first, but that is very unlikely to stay once the computers start seriously investing in their buildings. I might as well also point out that Diddy gets a balloon port this game. It is meh for us due to costing money, but it doesn't scale too badly for us in late game, so it's manageable. Later on, I quickly observed Birdo taking the lead due to the number of properties she had funding her exponential growth, so I devised a plan to dump all of my money into stock for her main district. As long as I had more stock in the district than her, I would technically be growing at a faster pace, and thus able to potentially overtake her for the win later on. Donkey Kong ends up getting the dreaded adventure number 13 and loses 13% of his shop's values. That in turn tanks his net worth down by roughly 700G. Not a complete loss for him, but it is one of the best things we can see computers get on an attempt, especially later in a run. Towards the end of the game, I get venture number 70, which gives me my total paycheck immediately, which is another 1000G to my total. With this, I can get close to winning, especially with Birdo improving her district still. Something cool to note is that if you use the cannon to land on a suit square, you will still collect the suit for the respective square. This allows for recollecting the suit I lost from the venture, meaning I save a loop around and potentially numerous turns. It is from this paycheck that we can buy the stock needed to hit the target goal, but Birdo has other plans. DK paid out a huge sum of money to Birdo, pushing her close enough to win from a promotion. I just had to make it around the board, and I could win. But that's when I made a fatal error. When buying or selling stock, any amount bought or sold over 10 will usually change the stock price accordingly. What I should have done was sold all of my stock in Birdo's district to not only secure all the net worth I had on hand, but to also crash the stock market to devalue her stocks and tank her net worth. Granted, we would have only been able to make her lose a total of 756G, but given that she lands on the bank with the paycheck and can invest stocks, I think she would have won anyways. Also, I just forgot that she blasted out of a cannon, meaning she could pick the direction she went the next turn. So with attempt number 2 only a single die roll away from winning, we have to try again. In attempt number 3, we see the home, the checkpoint, and the tax office. The home costs 30G multiplied by the owner's level if landed on, which is terrible scaling all around. And if the owner lands on it, it warps all players to that space, which can actually be good for us. The checkpoint is also mad due to the cost, regardless of if we land on it or not, but due to it only scaling to 200 and only needing to pass by it every once in a while, can be fine. Finally is the tax office, which can go straight down 5 tiers because I just made up the turn off your Wii because there's absolutely no point in playing the game anymore if you hit this late into your usually hour-long match. You have to pay out 10% of your total net worth, regardless of if it's in property, stocks, or ready cash, which in late game can be over 1000G for a building that costs 200G to make. And if the computer that owns it lands on it, they get paid 5% of their total net worth. This isn't balanced! Anyways, attempt number 3 ends with me paying out 978G to Donkey Kong's tax office an hour into the game and me turning off the Wii. Attempt number 4 starts and ends really unnotably. None of the computers have any focus districts in the 30 minutes I put into the game, and with the gap between me and them widening for the worse, I decided that it would be best for me to reset just because of there not being a reliable district to invest in. Attempt number 5 starts crazily with DK almost immediately getting a monopoly on the district north of the bank. He then, later on, upgrades the circus tent to charge 500G if landed on, which surely won't be a problem later on in the game. Birdo hits the Venture 13. I sell all of my stocks in DK's Monopoly because he feels keen to invest anywhere but his value district. I raise the value of all 0 of my properties by 7%, reinvest all of that money into DK's Monopoly, and both Birdo and Diddy proceeds to shell out 500G each to see the circus the two clowns are participating in. Jumping ahead to the end of the game, both me and Donkey Kong have the ability to win the game, with it all hinging on who makes it back to the bank first. Given that DK has only half the trip as opposed to mine, it is unlikely that... And he rolled a 6. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but it is really hard to pace this challenge run when the successful attempt is a one-and-done thing, and after the first couple games it gets really hard not to repeat yourself. Consider this the journey to the moment, me within arm's reach at the goal numerous times only for it to be ripped away for one reason or another. With that said, though, attempt number 6. The run starts with me taking 100G from each player on the first turn. This is great as it hampers their spending power, making the stretch from early to mid-game a bit longer. The 3 vacant plots are the home, checkpoint, and balloon port, which, while not the best, are decent enough. I get a Suit Yourself card, which can replace a suit for a paycheck. Birdo hits Venture 13, Diddy gets properties all over the board for once in his life, and I piggyback off the Lesser Kong's Diamond District. While under normal circumstances, I don't entirely trust his ability to financially invest. He is the only person with a clear district which can be invested into. Nearly 50 minutes into the game, I run out of recording space. Whoops. So I scrambled to clear a bit of space, showed Birdo finishing her turn, and then save and quit while spending the next couple hours transferring all the footage from previous runs to a USB. After I finally got some space, Diddy Kong gets a venture that expands one of his shops by 50%, and while yes, that property that costs over 1000G if you land on it is scary, that 1000G from stock growth alleviates the stress. When I reach the bank to get the paycheck that brings me to a net worth of 13,000G, something really interesting happens. Yeah, I don't feel too confident about this game anymore. With that trade, both Diddy and Donkey Kong become a lot scarier for me, and I am almost certain the trade only happened because I got close enough to the goal. My only saving grace is that I have a Suit Yourself card on hand from earlier, so I can cut my trip to the right section of the board short if I absolutely need to. I end up hitting Birdo's only scary property on the board, setting me back a lot, but being manageable enough. Diddy pays the lady too, and the lady herself gets a venture which drops a random district stock price by 20%. It is a 1 in 6 chance that this hits us though. Given that I already spent an hour and a half on this game, I thought that it'd be best just to see through. I roll on, pay Diddy, see both Diddy and Birdo get paychecks that honestly put both of them in a running far greater than I. And I think I just heard the sound of my soul dying there. So, from the span of 2 turns, I went from first with a good chance of winning to last with essentially no chance of winning. Again, though, might as well play it out since I got so far. I land on the bank for level 8 and raise the stocks enough to at least break the 10,000 mark, but DK widens the gap from last and third again. Diddy keeps investing in stock, and the game is pretty clear at this point. All he needs to do is invest in some property of his or buy some stocks to win, and with half the board owned by him, even regular payments will secure the victory. I roll, get the cannon to blast over to Diddy to have a chance of Diamond Suit. Donkey Kong invests into his death sentence of a shop, and Birdo just kinda sits there with the suit yourself card. All I can really do is hope Diddy doesn't get the victory, and... okay? Even then, Diddy invests and makes it to the target amount 2 squares from the bank. Learning from previous games, though, I employ the advanced strategy of taking stocks. By selling a large chunk of them, I can crash the price somewhat with ready cash needed to piggyback off of Donkey Kong. Sure, it may hurt for me, but it delays the inevitable by even just a turn. Diddy makes it to the bank, gets back to the target amount with essentially no shops threatening to take it away, and once again is left to me. I tank the stock again, go up for a shorter distance to the bank for an additional round of stock buying, and wait with bated breath. Diddy lands on his own property, which warps everyone to the tile, which is actually amazing as it allows me to turn around and immediately go back to the bank after selling all but 30 stocks in this district. Diddy once again falls below the target amount, buying more time. Donkey Kong gets a promotion, invests in stock, and also becomes scarily close to the target amount. Diddy gets back to 15k, Birdo plays a game of darts and decides everyone needs the money. I tank the stocks by selling only 10, and Donkey Kong invests his way to first place. Diddy gets back to the target amount with potentially 1 dice roll to win, like with attempt number 5. I sell stock again, do a Hail Mary play of investing stock into DK to tip him over to the target amount and attempt to get the spade and heart suits. Donkey Kong invests some more, bringing me to 14k, only 1000 G net worth away from the goal. We play a game of slime racing, no one wins, oh well. I sell all but 40 stock in DK's district and press on knowing that if I get to the bank without taking too large of a hit, I could actually win. Donkey Kong undoes my stock selling, Diddy enters Donkey Kong Express Lane of Pain, and once again reaches the target amount. His net worth is too high for me to stop this time, so it's just a race around the loop. I promptly sell stocks to stall DK, but keep some for Diddy in case he invests, and blast Donkey Kong with the cannon so I can avoid his 2000 G Little Shop of Horrors. Diddy is forced to auction a shop that no one bids for, Birdo still thinks this game isn't over for her, and I sell more stock to further deepen the hole for Donkey Kong. Landing on the Heart Suit, I get a venture card that gives me stock in every district, giving a cushion in case I take too many hits of my worth. Diddy lands on the cannon, but for some reason blasts me instead of Birdo, who is 1 space from the bank? I guess Diddy wants the promotion that badly? We get a surprise visit from the goodie bag, which doesn't do much at this point in the game, and I sell even more stock out of DK's district to ensure I'll be fine in regards to him. I blast a Donkey Kong, only 3 spaces from the bank now. Diddy uses the cannon again, and blasts to me instead of DK, who's a space away from the bank. What? It comes down to this. A 2 in 3 chance of winning the game, and I get the exact amount. So while yes, I can definitely say that it's possible to beat a game of Fortune Street without property, I didn't deserve to win? Like, what? What happened? I don't know. I just don't. Diddy decided to throw the game multiple times. Okay, cool. Good game. Okay, so anyways, I guess that's the end of the video. The music used was all the stuff from Fortune Street itself, which has some really nice renditions of tracks from both Mario and Dragon Quest games. Highly request giving them a listen if you haven't. If you like the video, like, comment what you think, sub and ring the bell for being able to see my videos as I prioritize quality over quantity with what I make, even if the computer players aren't quality. And share this video around if you thought it was good so other people can see it. I have been Generic Mystic, and I thank you for playing the stock market with me. Until we meet again on the interwebs.